Hello crafting friends, this is Patty Bennett, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I am very excited that you are sharing a little bit of your day with me today to look at these fun cards and how to make them, plus some variations. These products are on page 40 in our 2017 Occasions catalog. It's a nice large stamp set with lots of options called Happy Celebrations, and then there's also a 2-pack of embossing folders. One says Happy, one says Celebrate. Now this is not an actual bundle. They are on the same page, but you do purchase them separately. And let me show you some of the fun that I've been having with the supplies. So here's the stamp set. As I mentioned, it's a large set, so it does come on 2 separate plastic inserts in your case. And then here are the 2 embossing folders, Happy and Celebrate. Now, if you just simply wanted to emboss those, you would just get something like this. You can see I've done the Happy right there across a piece of Whisper White. Here I've done it 3 times. So that would be your simplest version. I've also done several versions where they're colored to reveal this really neat, depressed, embossed Celebrate and Happy. So we're going to go through those. I have some other versions to show you as well. Before we move on, I wanted to give you a close-up. These embossing folders actually deboss, so it has pressed the image down into the paper. So if I look on the back, I would actually see the raised image, but you can't use the back because the word is backwards. So you have to stick with the front side, and like I said, you could leave it plain, or let's get into these fun cards so I can show you how I made those. Let's start with this Celebrate card. I was making a bunch of these for my Love to Stamp group, and I started out in this stamp set by just using these 2 circle images. So I have those on my clear blocks here, and those are the 2 we're going to start with. I have Calypso Coral, Crushed Curry, and Dapper Denim. And simply the reason that I selected those is because I pulled some of the patterned paper out of the birthday package and just pulled the colors from that. Remember, when you are using the photopolymer stamps, that means these images that are just thin and clear, you want to use your Stampin' Pierce mat underneath your project. It will give you the best results for inking your stamps and stamping onto your cardstock. So I'm starting with Calypso Coral and the largest circle, and I'm simply going to press down over the C and the E, and you can see that it reveals those letters because they are depressed. And I'm going to stamp it one more time, and then I have a scrap paper I'm going to actually stamp off so that this one is lighter, and it's going to kind of look like I used another color. I do have my Stampin' Scrub over here. Make sure that you're cleaning your stamps in between so that you don't let the colors get mixed up on your ink pads. All right, so we'll just repeat that process a couple of times here. And going to add some of the crushed curry, clean off my stamp. I'm going to move to the smaller circle, Dapper Denim. And I'm not pushing too hard because you don't want the ink to go way down in, but you do want to give it a moment there just to get onto the entire piece of cardstock. And then I'm going to stamp that one off and let's do a lighter one right there. And how about a lighter one up here? And then I think I'll go with a couple more crushed curry. I think I'll stamp it off. One there. And just for fun, how about let's just do one up there. Okay, so super quick and simple, and you can see how fun that is that it revealed the depressed, embossed Celebrate. So on my cards, I did them in 3 different color combinations, just for fun. I just sometimes don't like making a million of the same thing, so I just used that same color palette for both the cardstock and the ink, and then I've added some fun little enamel dots, stars to those, hoping your day is perfect. So that's the first one. Now let's move on to Happy. Moving on to our second card, before I demonstrate this one for you, I just want to be sure that you know if you need any of these Stampin' Up! Supplies, I'm happy to help you with that. My blog is pattystamps.com, and you can click Shop Online anywhere on my blog to shop for these supplies. If you're watching this on YouTube, underneath in the description I will have a link to the coordinating blog post so that you can go directly to that post and see all of the details for this fun Happy card. So now on this one, I stamped this when I was stamping with my friend Cindy, and I sort of discovered a happy accident to go with this one. So this one has been embossed, however you want to say it, in the Big Shot with the Happy folder. Okay, so just, it's about a 2x4 inch piece of Whisper White cardstock. I embossed that for our sample. On here, it was embossed on a card front. But then this one is not embossed, but I want to show you how easy it is to make a second card while you're making this one. This is really a cool find. So here's our Happy, and then I have just a piece of Whisper White cardstock to go with it. In the stamp set, I'm using this piece right here. I have it mounted on my clear block. My color palette is Watermelon Wonder, Dapper Denim, and Emerald Envy. Wanted kind of a guy card color combination that I could use here. So, same idea as our Celebrate card. Just going to give that ink a moment to cover the H. But then before you do anything, stamp it on a scrap piece, and look at that! I mean, that's like the coolest, right? I think that is so cool. So while I still have the Watermelon Wonder ink, I'm going to go ahead and do another letter, and then right down here below. Of course, then we need to clean because we're going to switch colors. So how about Dapper Denim on the A? And again, you're just giving that ink a moment to settle in there and make sure that it gets onto your cardstock, because you don't want to let it, oops, did you see that? Just about inked it in the green. Woo! Crisis averted. Anyway, I was saying you just want to make sure that the ink soaks into the cardstock there so that you don't get a faint image. You want to make sure that your ink is all onto the cardstock. And then we'll move on to the Emerald Envy. Woo! That could have been a little bit scary. And then we'll do our last letter. And voila! Now you have enough to make both of these cards. Isn't that cool? So I hope it makes sense that this one is the embossed and this is just smooth, but it's like the opposite. I know, I just think that's super cool. I love that happy mistake. So let me just show you a couple of other cards I made. This one was embossed with the happy, and then I put this stamp onto my clear block and stamped it a few different times on top of the happy, and then used Birthday to You and one of the little star embellishments from the Urban Underground suite. And then this one I didn't even emboss. So as you can see right here, I used the happy stamp right onto the paper. You don't even have to stamp them individually. It's just all one stamp. And I added some paper and some balloons from one of our new bundles. And as some alternative ideas, just gonna grab these. I have these in the works here. I haven't made cards with them, but you can just see that there are lots and lots of possibilities when you combine both the stamp set and the embossing folders. All right, so much fun. I hope you enjoyed those ideas, and I hope it gives you a jumping off point so that you can work with these fun stamps and embossing folders. I hope that you'll find your own fun color combination and work with them and enjoy them. Leave me a comment if you enjoyed this. Thanks for spending some time with me.